He's the Black Samurai. His name is Yasuke. He's the Black Samurai. He's coming to a game near you. Ooh, he's the Black Samurai. His name is Yasuke. He's the Black Samurai. I wonder if that was his birth name. All right, so I woke up this morning to come across the X post about this game called Assassin's Creed Shadows, I think it's called, whatever the fuck. Ever since Origins, I said fuck the goddamn franchise, man, because they just lost the identity of what Assassin's Creed game was. So now they're making a samurai Assassin's Creed game with they're making a samurai game with Assassin's Creed name on top of it. They already made a Roman game with Assassin's Creed game on top of it. They already made a Viking game with Assassin's Creed name on top of it. So why not a fucking samurai game, right? And let alone not just a samurai game. We're gonna tell you about the tale of Yasuke, the black samurai. Excuse that belch. We're going to tell you a tale about this guy who is not a fictional character according to the links that I've ran across and the information I ran across on X or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. We have Yasuke. That's how I'm pronouncing his name because he's Japanese for once. And I'm gonna say Yasuke throughout the whole goddamn thing because I've never heard it pronounced. So, anyways, apparently Yasuke was a man, okay, likely of African origin, who served as a servant and retainer to the Japanese daimyo, Oda Nobunaga, in 1581 to 1582. That's pretty short. So let's look more into this Yasuke character because Ubisoft is actually making, I'm thinking he's probably the main protagonist in their next game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I don't understand, like, people are upset about this. I can understand by first glance you would be because you'd be thinking it's another virtue signal. It's another trying to pander to the black audience and shit like that. But if you don't know who the fuck this guy is, I understand that off the bat. But calm down, do a little research, and this guy is supposed to have existed, and he's a historical character like Abraham Lincoln. You know what I'm saying? Just to name one. I mean, like, what's his name? Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte. How you pronounce his last name? You get my point. Like Napoleon was in the Assassin's Creed game. We had Alexander Graham Bell was in there. George Washington was in there in the game. You know, they always add. This is nothing new to Ubisoft to add these historical figures in their game. You know what I'm saying? And they did the same thing with this Yasuke character, which would have been cool if he had his own fucking game. You know what I'm saying? And don't put Yasuke the Black Samurai as the fucking title. That's fucking stupid. Just put Yasuke the Samurai or some shit. And sell that motherfucker. But they got to slap Assassin's Creed name on it because of fucking money grab. They have to fucking hook, line, and sinker your ass into buying it because if you are an Assassin's Creed fan, you're going to like this next installment. Assassin's Creed Shadows, featuring a black samurai called Yasuke. You know, so here we go. It goes on to say he was retained by the daimyo. Oh, Jesus Christ. As a kosho for a period of 15 months until Nobunaga's death in the Hanno incident. He wasn't employed that long, or he wasn't like a servant. One person say he was a squire, but according to what I'm catching here, he was actually a samurai. But according to this, he wasn't. He was just a servant and a retainer to the Japanese. Oda Nobunaga. So, yeah, so he was born, like most likely, you say he was born in Mozambique. And he died sometime after June 1582. Holy shit. So he must have been killed along with Nobunaga. Nobunaga. So he must have been killed alongside with him. Okay. His rank was Kasho. So yeah, it's not much known about this guy. I mean, he lived centuries ago, and unfortunately, with historical figures, especially if they were known to have done good for their people and all that, and a lot of the stuff that they did may be gone from history if they didn't put it in record, keep it in with records and shit like that. So pretty sad, but it happens, man. Birth and early life. This is what is known about him. Among those whose names have been ascertained, he is the earliest African to appear in Japanese historical records, but his confirmed period of stay in Japan was very short, about 3 years, from 17th of August 1579 to 21st of June 1582. There are a few historical documents on Yasuke with only fragmentary accounts. In the letters of the Jesuit missionary Louis Frois, Ota Gyuchi's Nobunaga official chronicle. These all the historical records that talk about him that's listed here. Yeah, historian Francis Solis. Yep. So all these people talked about him. Let me see. It's the number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 or 6. I'm seeing here. They actually mention his name in their records. So the name Yasuke was given to him by Nobunaga. His real name is unknown. I didn't think that was his real name. And it is also unclear what he was called before that. Few details are known about him, including his date of birth, family structure, place of birth, ethnicity, and native language. Yeah, like I said, he was from Africa, but they didn't know exactly where. Like I said, he was possibly born in Mozambique, most likely. Like I said, it's not really much known about this guy. I mean, he didn't really have he wasn't around pretty much that long. 3 years, man. You know, the fact that we got this much information about him is amazing. So, however, there seems to be no doubt that he had African roots. And Louis Frois wrote of Yasuke as Kafre in his letters. Jean Crasset's Historia del how you pronounce that, states that Yasuke was a servant brought from India when Alessandro Valignano came to Japan, excuse me, while Francois Solier's Historie Ecclesiastique, these are tongue twisters, bro. It states that he was from Portuguese East Africa. Now it's called Mozambique. So, okay. Interesting. I mean, this character, like I said, me and the plethora of the people never heard about this guy's now. I wouldn't have staked my fucking life on it. That when we first heard of Assassin's Creed Shadows and this character was brought to our attention, we didn't know who the fuck this guy was. So a lot of us assumed that it was some virtue signaling. Here's your black character, black fans rejoice type of shit. That's what we thought. And it makes sense why people would think that. Because these games like to push the fucking woke agenda, the fucking race swipe and all that shit. They've been doing it for all this time. That's why I think the game crash is gonna fucking happen because of that shit. If it ain't the main reason, it's among the main reasons why it's gonna fucking happen. But that aside, let me see. Documented life in Japan. Let me see what's known. Let's see what's in here. This is Nobunaga's sketch here. In 1579, Yasuke arrived in Japan in the service of the Italian Jesuit missionary Alessandro, visitor of missions in the Indies. So he was serving an Italian dude when he arrived in Japan. Visitor of missions in the Indies and India. Valignano had been appointed the visitor inspector of the Jesuit missions in the Indies, which at first time meant East Africa, Southeast, and East Asia. So the party spent the first 2 years of their stay in Japan, mainly in Kyushu. Entering 1581, Valignano decided to visit the capital as an envoy. He wanted to have an audience with Oda Nobunaga, the most powerful man in Japan, to ensure the Jesuits' missionary work before leaving Japan. These events recorded in a 1581 letter of the Jesuit Louis Frois to Lorenco Mexia, and in the 1582 annual report of the Jesuit mission in Japan, also by Frois. These were published in another book or records in 1598, normally known simply as Cartas. On 27th of March, 1581, Valignano, together with Louis Frois, who had arrived in Japan earlier, had audience with Nobunaga, and Yasuke is said to have accompanied them as an attendant. I'm not reading anything that he was a samurai. I'm not. Not to say he didn't become one before he died. I'm just saying. So Louis Frois' annual report on Japan states that Nobunaga also longed to see a black man. Okay. And summoned him, and took to him, and that Nobunaga, seeing a black man for the first time, refused to believe that his skin color was natural and not applied later, and made him remove his clothes from the belt upwards. Valignano describes how Nobunaga, thinking that he might have ink on his body, made him take off his clothes and wash his body. But the more he washed and scrubbed, the darker his skin became. The Shincho manuscript of the Sankelaiku Bunko archives described him as follows. It says, and I quote, "A black bozu, Korobozu, from the Christian country has arrived. He appears to be 26 or 27 years old. The blackness of his body is like that of a bull. He is healthy and of fine physique. Moreover, he has the strength of more than 10 men. The padres came with him and thanked Lord Nobunaga for his permission to proselytize." Wow. So I read one part that he was that Yasuke was actually mistreated because of his skin color. I felt that was bullshit. You know, they actually, according to what I just read, they're praising him. To say somebody has a strength of like more than 10 minutes, pretty praiseworthy. So he was definitely a fighter. His strength was incredible. They pretty much was saying, you know. So, anyways, it says after this, Nobunaga took a great liking to him, okay, and asked Valignano to give him over and give him the Japanese name Yasuke, made him a retainer at his side. Nobunaga's nephew gave him a sum of money at the first meeting. The Shincho states, and it quotes, and I'm quoting now, a black man was taken on as a vassal by Nobunaga-sama and received a stipend. His name was decided to be Yasuke. He was also given a short sword and a house. He was sometimes made to carry Nobunaga-sama's tools. End quote. So Freud writes in an annual report of the Jesuits, he says, and I quote, "The black man understood a little Japanese, and Nobunaga's never tired of talking with him. And because he was strong and could do a few tricks, Nobunaga took great pleasure in protecting him and had him roam around the city of Kyoto with an attendant. Some people in the town thought that Nobunaga might make him as Tono or Lord." So he was on his way to receive a promotion, to become a lord over a servant. So Yasuke was on his way up before his demise. Wow. So that's the end of that account. Wikipedia says, after becoming a vassal of the Oda clan, Yasuke followed Nobunaga to Azuchi in Omi province, where he was appointed as Kasho, or page. I think it's Kasho, means no word for page. I think it's some type of servant. Goes on to say, Yasuke next appears in historical records on May 11th of 1582. The Latada diary of Matsudera Latada, a vassal of Tokugawa, mentions that Yasuke accompanied Nobunaga on his inspection tour of the region after he destroyed his longtime arch enemy, the Takada clan, or Kai. The description on May 11, 1582 states, and I quote, Nobunaga-sama was accompanied by a black man who was presented to him by the missionaries and to whom he gave a stipend. His body was black like ink, and he was 6'2" fun. Basically, he was nearly 6 feet tall. His name was said to be Yasuke. I like the pronunciation of Yasuke. I hope that's how it's pronounced. So yeah, like I said, Ubisoft doing this is nothing new to them. This is not a blackwashing of a historical white character or historical Japanese character. This dude was actually black, born black, came in Japan, and Nobunaga took a liking to him and, made him his squire or servant, you know what I'm saying? For like, he was around for like 3 years. So that's that. From what I've read so far, I don't think he's going to be a main character. He might be a side character. That's what I'm thinking. Or he, like I said, he may be a main character after all. He might be. But yeah, like I said, as far as me being interested in playing, I wouldn't be interested even if it was a Japanese samurai. Because, like I said, Assassin's Creed lost his identity basically since Origins. That's when it really started, was with Origins. But yeah. But I just found this character, this historical person, interesting to cover this and to make a video vlog about it. Yeah, I find them interesting. They even have an animated series based off Yasuke that I also found out this morning. Cause I believe like if you run across somebody or a YouTube video, somebody knocking Ubisoft for having a black Japanese character, just assume that they don't know who this guy is, Yasuke is. Because some people, they just jump to conclusions like without doing any research. They make a YouTube video and they talk, oh, here we go, a token black character. Here it is, Black Samurai. Look at that. See what I'm talking about? This woke shit. Like, no, apparently you can't say that because this dude apparently lived. Or even if he was a fairy tale character, so what? It's not like media hasn't added fairy tale characters in their stories to tell us a story. Like Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, the Little Mermaid, you know what I'm saying? I mean, do I have to go on? So it's like, I don't have an issue with the character himself. It's like I say, it's not like Yasuke was actually a Japanese dude and they made him black. And okay, then I'll have a problem. I can see the problem. But somebody actually asked that if this character was white, would they have a problem with it? I assume that they would. Because I remember one of them fucking god-awful Ninja Turtles movies, they made Shredder into a white dude. I was like, what the fuck? Shredder's Japanese. What the fuck are y'all doing? I thought that was fucked up. He was some white dude that was a weeaboo, an overgrown weeaboo in his fucking 40s, and paraded around as a goddamn samurai and shit. And speaking of a white samurai, I did run across some information that there was an actual white samurai. I can't remember his name because I never heard of him before. Just I never heard of Yasuke. Apparently, he was a white samurai. And then a question rose up into my mind. I said, will they make a game based off this guy? And I'm honestly tell you, I don't think so. Because Ubisoft at its core is a woke-ass company. They want to pander to minorities and colored folk. So I don't think they're going to even bother to make a game based off the white samurai. They're not. Whether he's fictional or not. So that's my take on it. If they do, kudos to them. If not, I'm not surprised. That's my take on that. So there's also some more information about Yasuke here. Some notes and references. Let me see. Let me just glance through this right quick. So in June 1582, Oda Nobunaga was betrayed and attacked by a senior vassal, Akechi. And Yasuke was serving near Nobunaga at the time. After his lord committed suicide, he went to Nijo Shingasho, the residence of Nobunaga's heir, when he engaged the Akechi forces. Lewis' first annual report on Japan contains the following statements. It says, a black man whom the visitor of Valignano sent to Nobunaga went to the house of Nobunaga's son after his death and was fighting for quite a long time. When a vassal of Akechi approached him and said, Do not be afraid. Give me that sword. So he gave him the sword. The vassal asked Akechi what should be done with the black man. And he said, a black slave is an animal, a bestial, and knows nothing, nor is he Japanese. So do not kill him and place him in a custody at the cathedral of Padre in India. Wow, I thought they was going to fucking kill him. Oh, he's not Japanese, he's a black slave. Kill this motherfucker. No, but he actually said, fuck it, we're not going to kill him. We're just going to place him in custody of the cathedral in India. Wow, I'm surprised. I actually thought that I was going to read that they killed him. So it's not really known as to why he decided to spare his life and shit like that, or the true meaning of it. It's not known whether it was a sign of his discriminatory mindset or an expedient to save Yasuke's life. As a result, Yasuke was sent to the Nanban and treated by Jesuit missionaries. It is certain that Yasuke did not die, as Louis Freud wrote 5 months after the Hano incident, thanking God that he did not lose his life. However, there are no historical sources about him since then, and it is not clear what happened to him afterwards. So yeah, so after Nobunaga died, pretty much Yasuke disappeared from history. There was no records to follow what he did and if he had children. Some people say he had children. Some people say he didn't. You know, so these are some depictions of him here. I can't. Which one is he? African followers, okay. Yeah, some of these images I believe to be him. Okay, so all right, it's just telling you what they're depicting. I'm not really interested in reading all that. So yeah, it's not really much known about this guy, basically. So you can also check out Black People in Japan, the list of people who disappeared, things of that nature. Yeah, I just found them interesting, to say the least. And apparently he was a real person, and he once lived in ancient Japan. So that's pretty much what is known about Yasuke in Wikipedia. And he was likely born in Mozambique. He was 6 foot tall. He was a warrior. So I guess you can't say he was a samurai, even though they didn't actually flat out say it, according to what I was reading. His real name is unknown. Yeah, his real name is unknown. It's also unclear what he was called before that. Few details are known about him. Yep, place of birth and all that. So they made an anime based off this guy. Did he have kids? This person says Yasuke did not have any children because he was never mentioned again after his master Nobunaga lost the battle. That doesn't mean he didn't have children later, though. The enemies captured him and called him an animal because he was not Japanese. And yet they didn't kill him, which I found very interesting. Oh, here we go. How do you pronounce Yasuke? Let me see how it's pronounced. From down. Okay, let me see how this is pronounced right quick.
His Japanese name, the Japanese pronunciation is Yasuke. Yasuke. From Danganronpa, Yasuke. Or in English, it's generally said as Yasuke.
Yasuke. Nah, I like Yasuke sounds. So I was right. I was right. I was absolutely fucking right. So I'm pronouncing it Yasuke. Or you can say Yasuke. So yeah, here we go. Why not talk about this? Was there ever a white samurai? Here we go. His name was Anjin Mura, or William Anjin, was the first and possibly only white man to ever be knighted as samurai. The gravestone is dark and yet beautiful. Some believe if you go at the right hour or daylight, you can see Anjin with his katana roaming the grave. Oh yeah. So yeah, apparently this is the one. This is one I was referring to as Anjin. Let's see if a game comes out based off this guy. Why the fuck not? Right? Come on, Ubisoft. Come on, Ubisoft. Where's the game at? What do they call a female samurai? Onabushi? Onabugeisha? Oh, it's Onabugeisha. Means woman warrior. Cool. Yeah, I'm just looking at some extra shit. So if you made it this far, appreciate it. This is very interesting information about this man. Like I said before today, I never heard of him, Yasuke, and you know, and don't knock people for being ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Ignorance basically means lack of knowledge. I mean, come on, man. You shouldn't fucking fault people for being ignorant. It's the way it is. We're ignorant of a lot of shit. So I was ignorant this man existed until this morning. So here we go. Watch Yasuke on Netflix official site. It says a peaceful boatman, once known as the Black Samurai, is pulled back into conflict when he takes a little girl with mysterious powers under his wing. What the fuck? I didn't want to make it DBZ, huh? Dragon Ball Z and shit. So that's Yasuke, and on the thumbnail is based off of a model, of course, of Yasuke himself. So I just thought I'd put that as a thumbnail. And with that being said, this is why Chromosome sign the fuck out. Peace and love. Good health to you all, and be safe out there. Peace. I'm out. He's the Black Samurai. His name is Yasuke. He's the Black Samurai. He's coming to a game near you. Oh, he's the Black Samurai. He may have a lot of kids. He's the Black Samurai. He's coming to a game near you that I won't be fucking playing.